Computer slow after installing 32 GB RAM. I'm currently running very large network simulations for my PhD research, for which I need lots of RAM. I have a Core i7 2600K processor with a GB GAR Z68APD3 motherboard, running Windows 7 Professional 64-bit. I bought the system with 8GB, 2x4GB, DDR3 1600 MHz Corsair Vengeance RAM, and the system ran like a dream. I'm planning to upscale my simulation, so I removed the 2x4GB RAM and installed 4x8GB DDR 1600 MHz Corsair Vengeance RAM. When I rebooted the system, boot time was much longer than usual, 10 minutes just to get to login screen. After logging in, the whole system was unresponsive. I tried playing some games, BioShock 2, but it was unplayable. I've not had this problem before, and I have an ATI Radeon HD 5850 graphics card, so that's not the problem. The only thing that's changed is the RAM. I've looked through the specifications of Windows, my motherboard and my CPU, and they all state that 32 GB of RAM is supported. Does anyone have an idea of what's going on? Any help would be greatly appreciated. More info. Thanks for all the answers, guys. We'll try the proposed solutions and report back tonight. To answer some of the questions. I did remove half the RAM, so now running on 16 GB, and this fixed everything. This is what I'm running now, but I still need the extra RAM. Windows detects 32 GB of RAM and shows that it's all addressable under System Information. I've booted my Linux virtual machine, which was as slow, but this could just be because of the Windows host. I'll try to find and boot from a live CD. All my memory modules are 1600 MHz, but the timings on the 8 GB modules are somewhat slower, 10 instead of 9. I've rebooted the system multiple times, also thinking Windows is just adjusting, but the problem remains. Testing method. I've now tested my slots and modules in the following way to try and quickly rule out bad slots or modules. Starting with 4 8GB modules. The system is extremely slow. I removed 2 of the 4 8GB modules. The system worked fine, and we know those 2 modules are fine. I added my old 2x4GB modules back into the system. The system detected 24 GB RAM and everything worked fine, so we know the RAM slots all work. I removed all modules and added the other 2 untested 8GB modules back into the system. The system worked fine. Again, adding all 4 8GB modules. The system experienced a factor 40 or so slowdown. Doing this, I can only conclude that all my modules and slots are fine, and that there's some other hardware or software constraint that's preventing me from getting all my RAM working. Eventual solution. As some of the users have stated in this thread, the solution was to turn my onboard graphics card to always be on and to increase the onboard graphics card memory. The system works fine now. Thanks everyone.
When we experienced this issue, we fixed it by enabling the onboard VGA, set to on all the time, not just when a graphics card is not present, and increasing the onboard graphics RAM to the max, 400 plus MB, in the advanced section of the NBSP, BIOS. After this, the computer started up in under 20 seconds.
It sounds like faulty RAM to me. The motherboard might have adjusted the speed down until it worked. Muntist 86 Plus is a good boot to run a test with. This URL and CPUs gives excellent information on the current state of your hardware. This URL. Definitely look at the timings on each RAM module. Whilst the speed might match, if their timings are mismatched, you would get a slowdown.
Turn on onboard graphics and allocate as much RAM as possible to it. I submitted a support request with Gigabyte. This was their response. It is known issue that using 32 GB memory will require onboard VGA shared memory to be set to 256 MB. If with 32 GB RAM the system gets poor performance, then please set onboard VGA to enable if no XPEG. Thanks. Worked for me certainly. System config.
I have seen this issue in the past and the problem was quite elusive. Memory modules have a chip on them called the SPD, which identifies to the motherboard operating parameters. The sticks of RAM I'd installed needed to run with about 2.1V, but the SPD chip was identifying them as a previous model which ran on just 1.8V. Hence my motherboard powered them with insufficient voltage. I was told by the manufacturer that this shouldn't be an issue. However, the additional current the modules were pulling because of the lower voltage and the fact I had 4 of them and apparently a not very good motherboard meant running with 4 caused poor performance and random results. Overriding the voltage of the modules to what the manufacturer specified in the tech spec resolved all these issues. Perhaps try identifying the SPD information from a diagnostics program like Piriform Speccy and then comparing this to the given tech spec on the manufacturer's website. Set the modules to these values manually to check it fixed it.
Sonata